Two legendary bands, one unforgettable summer night. Santana, Dewey Brothers are coming to Mystic Lake Amphitheater August 27th. Don't miss this bucket list show. Tickets go on sale Friday, 10 a.m. Full details, KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
We've done this several times. We did it last week, and we're jumping over the pond again to Milan. Joining us now, one of the fans' finest, Parker Fox at Parker Fox 24 via X. He's joining us from, I guess, ground zero of it all in regard to this dominating run that the U.S. women are on the ice as they dispatched of Sweden and then are now set to play for gold. This is going to be awesome. How you doing, Parker?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm doing really good. Last night was so fun just to be a part of, beating, Sweden and winning the semifinals game. And now you booked your ticket. It was probably inevitable, right? It was always going to be USA Canada, but
yeah. You
got to play the games. You got to show up. And now the showdown is set for Thursday night here in Milan. It'll be, I think, around noon puck drop in the Minneapolis area.
So when Taylor scored the goal, do you remember how you reacted?
I think it was kind of I don't know if childish is the right way to put it, but definitely a kid-like approach of just excitement. I think I threw a fist bump in the air, and one of those situations where she's not necessarily the goal scorer, right? She's more of a set somebody up type of mentality, get other people involved. But it was a 2-on-1 break, and she put herself in a good spot, and Hannah Bilka made a good pass, and she buried it. And it wasn't the cleanest of goals. If you were to ask her, she tried to go against the grain and kind of lift it up, but the goalie got her glove on it. And fortunately, she didn't catch it. Fortunately, it kind of ricocheted off the glove and went between the legs and found herself in the back of the net. So, yeah, she was pretty fired up, and I was definitely fired up to see her score one. Just kind of get that monkey off her back. Hadn't had a couple points in a couple games, so to get that one was huge for her.
Well, and you know this from playing hoops. I mean, box scores live forever, right? And 15, 20 years from now, no one's going to be saying, hey, Taylor, you scored that somewhat iffy goal as part of a blowout in a semifinal game. You're going to say, hey, Taylor Heisey scored in the Olympics. I mean, and that's where you just kind of leave it.
That's exactly right. What's funny, Nardo, is right after that, Jason Kelsey and Kylie Kelsey were sitting right behind me. So I go up to him and I'm like, that was my fiance that scored. She's a big fan of you guys. She listens to the podcast. Could I take a selfie? And they were all about it. And they were freaking out. And I was freaking out. I was like struggling to take the selfie. My hands were, a little jittery and everything. But they were such nice people. And they both had their USA gear on and were cheering on Taylor and the team.
Yeah, they were. I saw those posts on social media. And was it immediate? You knew right away they were sitting behind you. Did you encounter them prior? I mean, that was kind of cool to run into Jason Kelsey and his wife.
Yeah, it was super cool. I actually saw him on the concourse, and I tried to, get a quick picture with him, and he was just such a gentleman. He was taking selfies with everybody. He's just there as a fan. He wasn't sitting in some luxury box or anything. He was, just Jason Kelsey sitting, watching USA Hockey, and I think he was just walking around the concourse like a normal human being. And I tried to snap a quick selfie with him, but it wasn't the cleanest, selfie. So I was like, I got to go back and get a second picture, and I got to have Kylie in this one. And I made it happen, and Kylie said that she wants Taylor on her podcast, so we'll see if we can make that happen, huh?
Oh, heck yeah, that'd be incredible. Now, with that said, meeting Jason Kelsey, did you go down the road of, well, I'm also a lifelong Vikings fan, and the 2017 NFC title game was a complete freaking disaster, and seeing you hoist a Lombardi in the stadium of my favorite team hurt me, and therefore I can never forgive you? Did you talk to him at all about that?
I didn't go that deep. It was definitely on the brain, that is for sure. It was definitely the first thing I kind of thought about when I saw him, but didn't go too deep. There was thousands of people around town to take pictures with him, but just the fact that I got to meet him, and I think he's done such a good job of, he's got daughters, and he's just done such a good job of supporting women's sports, and it's something that, I do myself watching Taylor, and the fact that he was just there as a fan, just generally consuming the sport was super special to see.
Kind of an odd question. How much time do you get, for instance, after yesterday's game? There's a lot going on, of course. How much time do you get to spend with Taylor or around the team in general in terms of just being able to celebrate a little bit, spend some time together before, the gate closes on the Village and you're back on your way out?
Yeah, it's so Athletes Village is complete athletes, right? So we're talking security guards, we got the police, we got the gates are shut around there. But she likes to come outside the Village and she's an avid walker, so she likes to go on walks. So yesterday after the game, she did a pretty long media session, took about half an hour. So we, as a family, just kind of headed off to dinner and went and got some dinner, but she ended up meeting us at the restaurant and had some dinner with us. And me and my brother split a tomahawk steak, and the food out here is just absolutely unbelievable. And then we woke up this morning and we went to lunch together today. So I would say there's a good amount of time that we get to spend together, just, taking your mind off of it a little bit, right? I think that's such an important thing as an athlete, especially when you're in a village surrounded by all these other athletes, is your mind is focused on your competition, which is good, which is important. But I think there has to be a little decompression as well. And I think, Taylor does a really good job of just identifying that for herself and doing whatever she sees fit for that day.
When you guys had that tomahawk steak, was the bone still on it? Still had the long bone on it?
Oh yeah, big bone right down the middle. They split it open for us and then gave us a little bit of salt to the Salt Bay to flick a little bit of salt on that thing, man. It was unbelievable. I'll tell you what, our dinner last night was special, and we had a group of I think 15 people, all family and friends of Taylor, and Lake City was definitely in the house here in Milan, and we absolutely ate. We ate like kings, that's for sure.
I was thinking about it as I'm at home, of course, watching the Olympics yesterday, just kind of how fleeting these moments are. I mean, doesn't it, and you're there, you can tell me, but how quickly this is gone. Where you first joined us, you had basically just gotten off the plane and you're chatting with us 9 to noon. And now we're talking about a gold medal game just a little over a week later.
Yeah, and you're right, Nordo. It's one of those things where, I mentioned it when we started the call here. Most people thought it was going to be U.S.-Canada, right? Like, it's been that way for the last 20 years, and, it's the game, it's the rivalry in women's hockey. But I was, intentionally trying to just enjoy a moment along the way, right? I had a buddy text me this morning. He's like, "Are you ready to go home?" And my first response was like, yeah, I miss some of the simpler things in America, right? Like, I miss having some AC in my room. I miss not having to, mess with an adapter or, every restaurant you go to, you got to order, little things that you didn't necessarily think you need. So, like, there's some little, like, minor inconveniences, but that does not, surpass the greatness that is the Olympics, right? And every time you walk into that stadium, you walk, near that ice and you see those Olympic rings and you know that, you're supporting somebody who's living in those big moments is really special. So, a couple more days here in Milan. So we're trying to soak it all in. We're going on a food tour this afternoon, trying to get, all the culture that is Milan. And, it's a truly special time. And it's really special to just watch Taylor kind of, go through it and enjoy it. And, it's something that she's been, trying to achieve her whole life. And here she is living it out.
Yeah, it's just incredibly special. And they, after let's say women handle business on Thursday, they win the gold. It's not immediately jump on a plane, right? Do you at least get to chill for another day or so before you head back?
Yeah. So they play on the 19th. I don't leave Milan here until the 22nd. So, and then my birthday's on the 20th. So I'm spending the birthday, the big 27 here in Milan. I think we might go to Venice. And the Team USA has a lot of special things planned post Olympics for these athletes. There's a really cool Olympic house here in Milan called the Winter House, where all athletes and former athletes can go and hang out. So there's a celebration, hopefully for a gold medal, right? You got to win the game after the gold medal game. And then there's just a lot of fun things along the way. And I think the girls, they've been training for this. They've been locked in for this for a while now. And I'm sure after they win gold, hopefully they're able to kind of let loose and see what is Milan and just enjoy the good time as well.
No, that's awesome, man. I appreciate you spending time with me, not just today, but of course last week as well. And we'll catch up soon, but soak that in, brother. That is just an unbelievable experience. You get to be right with it. That's awesome, man. Congrats to Taylor, of course, on that goal. Again, it's a goal in the Olympics. We shall forget quickly how it happened. It doesn't matter. It counts. And we're all just incredibly proud and loving what we're watching. This is great.
That's exactly right. Well, we appreciate you guys over here as well. Taylor feels all of your guys' love, and make sure all the audience, all our rubes are watching. And I think about noon Central Time on Thursday, USA Canada. It's the event in women's hockey, so we're all fired up here.
All right, talk to you soon, man.
All right, talk soon, guys.
That is Parker Fox from Milan as the United States women. It is gold medal. It's going to be a nooner. It's going to be 12:10 on the schedule, I believe, Brett, if that's the case. U.S. and Canada on Thursday. And, I mean, the freight train, it's close until it's not. Every single game. That was exactly how Sweden went. You dropped 4 in the second period. Cruise control to the finish line. Thursday, hoist gold. Man, what an unbelievable experience Parker and all the ladies as part of Team USA are having. And hopefully the men get to have a similar experience. As they move on, they'll face the winner of Sweden and Latvia. Sounds like Sweden should be favored in that affair. We shall see. That takes place. Is that 2:00 today? 2:00 today, Brett?
The Sweden play-in match, yes.
Yes, so Sweden and Latvia today. That tells you who the men are playing tomorrow. I believe that's also at 2:00. And then their gold medal game would be later this week. Or they'd go to the semis after that, excuse me. So we're continuing to follow it. The Olympics, that were fleeting as these moments can be. We're soaking it in while we can. In between the Super Bowl and the Combine, there's no pro hockey. There's no pro hoops until later this week. We got high school hockey. Girls tournament, I think, kicks off pretty soon. So we got those sorts of things, but soaking in these Olympics as well. More talkbacks, more text messages. It is indeed a Talker Tuesday brought to you by Northern Fire Grilling and Barbecue Supply. Nordwin for PA on the Fan. We'll be back next.
Join Muss and Miller Lite at Duke's Pizza Pub in Oakdale this Thursday, 5 to 7. You can stop by for drink specials, games, and to register for a chance to win a spot in the Vikings Foundation Golf Tournament. Get full details now, KFAN.com, keyword golf.
Text machine, 64686, Brad, Sean, Bryant, KFAN text line. Are we sure Kirk wouldn't be against being a backup on a good team? He chases wins, after all. I really said that, didn't I?
You did.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, let's hear it.
I think Kirk would almost be happier just potentially leaving the league because he's not chasing dollars. I think he legitimately chases wins.
It's just you just can't help but laugh.
It's so dumb. Oh my goodness. Oh man, it's so dumb. Kirk's it's very important to Kirk that he finds a place where he's comfortable, finds a place where he can play, finds a place where he can potentially win, but got to get those dollars right. Got to get that money right. For the right price, maybe he would be. Gosh, I love the preposterous statement tournament. As I was saying with Saucy at the Open, though, it's almost painful to hear audio of yourself saying something so asinine and ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it just, I wouldn't send 3 first-round picks for Patrick Mahomes.
It's so good. It's so good. Yeah.
What?
I like that it cuts off so that there could be no further context.
No,
that's all you need.
It does. Just starting a sentence with that requires no context. 3 first-round picks for Patrick Mahomes. Oh, my goodness, Eric. What are you doing?
There's one more in the system.
What's that one about? What's the topic?
If you take away plays like Amon-Ra St. Brown,
here we
front
go.
side of the end zone at Detroit.
Okay.
If you take that out of the equation, that game-winning touchdown, that massive spot that he failed in, or if you take away last season, that 4th and 10 at Seattle, where he loses DK Metcalf and loses the ball in the lights, and he's 6 yards away from DK as they convert the 4th and 10.
I know where this is going.
And ultimately, Metcalf catches the game-winning touchdown. If
really
you take those plays out of the mix, Cam Dancer's been pretty good.
Cam Dancer, what are you doing? Yeah, it's... I guess, I didn't know that this was going to be like a therapist couch that I'm somewhat hunched over on now, laughing at my own idiocy. I just want this team to win, man. I want this team to win. And since I was a child, growing up in Mankato, going to training camp, loving this team, watching the team, I just want this team to win so badly. And as part of that, there's emotion there. There shouldn't be. It's sports. It's a kid's game. But there's emotion there. Maybe some of you listening have some Rube-like emotion and connection to this particular team as well. I do. Let's just all be honest about it. We are Rubes, right? That emotion and that just unbridled love for this team finally at some point getting their way to the top of the mountain and hoisting that trophy. Not even being able to, at 41 years old, I can't even tell you what getting there looks like, much less actually following through and closing out with a W. I've just seen field goals going the wrong way. I've just seen interceptions over the middle of the field. I've seen, and I'm just gonna say 41 donut. Sean Payton and the Giants staff were listening in on our plays, regardless of how realistic or accurate that is. I've seen all of those things, and it sucks. And so, as part of that, I may try to sell myself on Cam Dantzler, and in the process, sound completely out of my mind. And it's because I want this team to win so badly. And at one point, you think about it, let's go back. The emotion of being a Vikings-loving Rube. So last spring, we talked about it in the open, and I'm sure everything's perfect over in Green Bay, Brett. So you can just let me opine and just think back to my own team. But we were talking about it in last spring. Ryan Kelly, history of concussions, but other nicks and injuries in recent years. You want to sell yourself that he's on the come health-wise and that he's going to be productive. And we know throughout his career when he is healthy, he's damn good at center. Didn't work out. You want to sell the idea that Javon Hargrave, as productive as he's been, whether it was San Francisco, spent some time with Philly as well, been to 2 Super Bowls, I believe. Sadly, I think he was on the losing side of both of those. But if he's healthy, this is what it could be. And I can't help it. Naturally, I sit and I look at these situations, and that is my first inclination. It's not, he only played in, look at Fries. He only played in 5 games last year, and it took him about 16 games this year, it feels like, before I was kind of starting to go, all right, I think we can work with this. But everything, Jonathan Allen missing nearly half the season. He played in 7 or 8 games. My first inclination is not, he only played in a handful of games last year. This is a potential disaster. My first inclination is, my instinct would be, if he stays healthy and finds that form, this could be a game-changing acquisition for us. I mean, I can even look back. I was excited about Mekhi Blackmon out of USC in 2023. Not because I had watched every game that Mekhi Blackmon ever played in college. I was excited about the prospect of him potentially being a playmaker in this defense. Caleb Evans. Remember him, the Mizzou kid? I know you don't, Brett, but Vikings fans do. Caleb Evans, Missouri. He was incredibly funny and amusing on X. I'm sure he still is. Had like a pet rabbit or something like that. Really cool personality, good dude. Was forced into the mix to make some plays. Did. Great 4th down. I think it was 4th and long. And again, it was Heineke's. Was it WFT or was it the Commanders at that point? Maybe it was the Commanders by that time. But he makes this terrific play. It's like, we might have something with the Caleb. Did we? We know the answer to that. Andrew Booth, excited about him. We trade back in 2022 to get Lewis Seen. Could have had Kyle Hamilton. We've had that conversation to no end. Okay, but this guy was kind of a benchmark playmaker for that Georgia defense. And then he tears up his leg at Tottenham, and it's never the same. Frankly, he wasn't even ready to start and be productive prior to that injury. So I'm an emotional Rube. I want my team to win. So when I see, hey, Brian Asamoah, undersized, quick linebacker out of Oklahoma.
Great name.
And I believe at the time he has a Ghanaian, he's of Ghanaian descent from Ghana. And there was that connection. And then, it's like, okay, that's cool. Kwesi, Ghanaian, I believe. Brian Asamoah, that's the problem too. Is it used to be Asamoah and then it evolved to Asamoah. Maybe that affected his play. I don't know. But I was excited. He had a couple cool moments that his rookie season in 2022. Did it work out? No, it did not. So when I look at some of these names and I get excited about some of our players, it's because I am willing, in my Rube-loving heart, I want them to succeed. Them succeeding is good for them, and it's good for me as a Vikings fan. So that's just a little Rube-like emotion attached sometimes to what we're looking at here in terms of the Vikings draft. To the Talkbacks on a Talkback Tuesday. I like this one.
Morning, Nordo. JB here. Give me Jameis Winston.
Yes.
Give me famous Jameis.
Okay.
30 for 30 king.
Yep.
Give me the guy that's going to go out there. He's going to give J.J. McCarthy just enough of a push. Probably still lets J.J. win the job. But enough guy where if push comes to shove, if this has got to be our dude going down, we got him.
Man, I love that. Thank you for the Talkback, JB. Jameis Winston. If anything, it would be fun. It'd be fun to have him on the team. He can throw 30 touchdowns. He can throw 30 picks in a season as well. Talkbacks.
Derek Carr, Super Bowl homeboy.
Yeah, I read an article yesterday, I think. Could have been ESPN or NFL.com. Just kind of bouncing around the websites. Seeing what's being aggregated, seeing the fodder. And I saw something, or at least a headline. I didn't dive into the article. Derek Carr would unretire for a chance to win a Super Bowl. Well, who wouldn't, first of all? Who wouldn't? We have Chad Greenway in here on a weekly basis. He thinks he could still give you 10 to 15, maybe 20 snaps in a game. Some semblance of high level. And frankly, knowing Chad, I ain't going to argue with him. He'd unretire for a chance to win a Super Bowl. I'm sure of it. Would Derek Carr look at the Vikings and say, if I join this team, I have a chance to win a Super Bowl? And that's where then Rubes like me talking about the emotion of it, I got to step away. No, the injury riddled past of some of these free agents that we've rolled the dice on, that is disastrous. That's part of the reason why we're in this spot. Cam Dantzler was indeed as bad as advertised, and you can't remove those plays. What a preposterous statement, my goodness. Those sorts of removing the emotion from it. Is this a Super Bowl winning team? Are they a piece away, a quarterback away? That's a difficult thing to answer there. Continuing with the Talkbacks again, Talker Tuesday is brought to you by Northern Fire Grilling and Barbecue Supply. Somebody later on, Brett's going to pick the tastiest Talkback, and somebody's going to win a $25 Northern Fire Grilling and Barbecue Supply gift card. So Talkback, free iHeartRadio app. Give us up to your best 30 seconds, and we will play them as we roll through 9 to noon. We are going to pause. We got some news around the corner. We're live watching a little Olympic hockey. It's the Czechs and the Danes going on right now. Loving that. And we're going to continue up until 11, where then John Bonus is going to join us from Fort Myers for some baseball conversation. So Talker Tuesday, Nordo, Brett with me. It's the Fan.
Nordo, to answer your question, yes, we're going to the big game this year. This is our year. Mark my words, bud.
Oh, sweet. Talkback Machine, free iHeartRadio app.
Hey, good morning, guys. Mitch here from South St. Paul. So talking about the quarterback situation for next year, I think the ceiling should be like a Joe Burrow, but in all honesty, it's going to be probably the floor like somebody like a Mac Jones or a Derek Carr or something like that. But, I mean, I feel like they're just going to try to roll with JJ and not bring in too much competition because we need those draft picks. And in order to get a quarterback, we'd have to give up the draft picks. But here we are. Skol Vikings.
Skull Vikes, thanks for the talkbacks. It's a Talker Tuesday, 9 to noon. Kind of opened the show, just a little potpourri chat with Saucy. And actually, I received a text message. They want Meat Sauce to host 9 to noon. More sauce all the time. Let's see if we can. I'll talk to Abbott about it after the show. Meat Sauce, host of 9 to noon. So more sauce all the time. Draft conversation, combine chatter with Saucy to begin the show. Just kind of running down the line of just the positions that we've put ourselves in from a best player available standpoint. The quarterback, I mean, kind of proving just this ridiculous, this spectrum again of what you can do with the spot. And we're all just sitting here. I mean, my head's spinning on it because the best option was us selecting a good quarterback in the draft. That was the ideal option. That this coaching staff, that this team was going to select somebody that they had immense faith in, that they had a terrific plan to develop, that somebody they could put on the field and win games with and ascend with. That's the best option. And I'm worried after such a short sample size that we're already in a spot where we have to decide, did we make a mistake? And what we've seen on the field, mixed to say the least, problematic to be sure. And that's just what we've seen on the field. The other issue, of course, is kids had trouble staying on the field, being available. And so all of that put together, the best option would have been nailing it in the draft. And that was, it feels in this moment like a failure, doesn't it? And so I am in the camp where I can't give up on that. I need to see more before my opinion is dried concrete. But it can't continue on that way. And now for former coach of the year, he's re-upped. We got the extension and all of that. You dismissed the GM. Winning games, certainly at the front of that conversation in terms of moving forward. Winning games now might not include J.J. McCarthy. I love this text, 64686, Bradshaw and Bryant, KFAN text line. Why is it that Parker's phone connection halfway across the world in Milan is crystal clear, yet Lavelle calls in from 10 miles away most days, and it sounds like he's inside an aquarium?
I always love that one.
It's true. That's why bumper to bumper, and you work all the shows, so you've probably been on. You got the Lavelle bingo card, of sorts, where it can be from a timing standpoint. It could be like the cheek dialing numbers on the phone.
Mm-hmm. He'll do the switch.
Him just not answering.
Yeah.
Calling the cell, and then at last second actually call my home line. Just the various things that can occur, including, the distant, the aquarium, like you sound like you're right here. We can just get our mouth just a little bit closer to the receiver. Oh, there we go. Welcome back. Long time, one of the greats, Lavelle Neal III. Always an adventure. Lavelle's got some serious interview stuff. I was talking to him yesterday, trying to find time for him to jump in here with PA over the next week or so. He's got some massive stuff coming down the pipeline. So looking forward to having Lavelle. We'll do it in studio, so he sounds better in FM versus the home line. Text line, I'm confused by most of these talkbacks. Do you really want a guy to come in who's going to improve us to being a slightly less mediocre team, make a wild card game, and lose? Is that what people want? Just better than we had? So we can live in the middle of the draft like we did for decades and not have a chance at a true generational talent? We either need major improvements or roll with the kid. Win the division or go in the dump. The middle isn't the path to future success.
That sounds a lot like someone noon to 3 would say historically good or biblically bad. That's exactly what that text was saying. And fair enough.
Let me see here. Just getting a text from John Bonus, working on his time of joining sometime during the final hour. Biblically bad, historically good.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that has that ever been a talker with the Wild?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Kind of the idea of never bottoming out.
Yeah. I mean, it's a point where it's a very polarizing, because it draws such heavy emotional reaction to the thought that we could be bad and have meaningless hockey for 2, 3, 4 years. Obviously, we're not anywhere. That was, 5 years ago when I thought they should have done it when the Parisi and Suter buyouts first started. That was the time to do it.
Okay.
Now we're pushing all the chips into the center of the table. But at a time, there was like, well, we're already one hand tied behind our back. Why not just load up on prospects and draft picks and see what happens if you can build something? Because the Blackhawks have had a dynasty, torn it down, and they're back to being built up. And I mean, in 2 years, they could be back to their scary side with Bedard. They got Bedard because they tore it all down. So
are they on that trajectory again?
I would say not this year, maybe not next year, but the trajectory is upward for them.
Really?
Yeah. And that they did it by tearing it all down. They got Kane and Taves by tearing it all down before that. So it does work. That's
where it hit with me was a decade or more ago when, we're watching, Niederreiter, win the series against the Avs and those sorts. It was cool.
What a great game.
It was unbelievable. Mikael Granlund scoring goals on his side, laying on the ice. Just really, really cool moments. But I just remember that being a conversation when it was feeling very inevitable that it's still Kane and Taves and Duncan Keith and Crawford and Ned and those guys, that in the end, the Hawks were going to do their thing. But it was because they were so bad that they were able to acquire Kane and Taves. Now, the NFL, the way that it's set up, I don't know necessarily that you have to. Part of it, frankly, this jumps back into the draft conversation and how important acing the draft is. The best teams haven't necessarily had to bottom out. The Chiefs were winning playoff games with Alex Smith, and they drafted Patrick Mahomes. The Seahawks never really bottoming out, but finding their way to effectively 2 different generations of Super Bowl teams. And that's just terrific drafting. Terrific financial work on the inside, acquiring the right veterans. And in this particular case, pulling the plug at the right time. They were going to give Geno Smith money. He's like, I want more. And they said, nah, we're just going to move on. And they find their way to Sam Darnold. We see teams, are the Titans a team that by nature of being absolutely awful, did they scare you in 2026? And I know that's cherry picking a particular spot, but I also think with the drafting of the Minnesota Vikings over the last however many years, and you can go back a ways. In some areas we've absolutely flourished. In other areas we've been historically dreadful. I would say, and I think Christian Darrisaw is certainly in the pro column. I'm very excited about Donovan Jackson, Brian O'Neill. Okay, so 3 out of the 5 of our offensive line. Brian O'Neill backside of his career, to be fair. But in the end, you look at those, you're like, those are wins in the draft. But how many times have we opened up? We'll do offensive lineman of the day in this time of year to decide who we're going to pick in the draft, to finally figure out how to run the ball effectively, finally figure out how to keep the quarterback upright. Often we've done that over the course of time. Do you feel at this stage, if we were to bottom out, that would necessarily guarantee improvement either? The best teams, it feels like to me, while they did the one thing, however, that we can't do or haven't done, they nail the quarterback. They nail the quarterback. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know. I heard an idiot on this radio station some time ago say that they wouldn't give up 3 first-round picks for Patrick Mahomes. That guy's a moron. Unbelievably stupid.
I always love that one.
Nail the quarterback, right? Our team has failed to do that. And so we've neither been successful at nailing the quarterback and building around him, or now in the more recent times, nail the draft, create a roster around a QB that can win. So we've really failed in both areas. But I get the sentiment, and it's still, again, back to the emotional Rube thought. I have a hard time with the idea that, if they start 0-3 in 2026, I'm not begging for them to win 2 games the whole season. That's brutal. That's dreadful. If that was to take place, by the way, we might be a year from now talking about other significant or substantial changes with the organization. So bad times, best of times, living in the middle is no fun place to be. And that's, again, we've failed on every end in some respects. And as of now, again, fail as it relates to J.J. McCarthy. It hasn't looked good. It's looked hideous for the most part. Are we ready to give up on that? Now, as it pertains to the QB, though, I will agree with the texter. You're either going to continue to support him or you're going to go big game hunting. The in-between stuff, the Mac Jones types, I think I would tend to agree that isn't going to be any sort of answer, whether it's 2026 or beyond. Talker Tuesday at the end of the show, somebody's going to get a $25 Northern Fire gift card. Talkbacks free iHeartRadio app. But let's just swing on into to news, shall we, Brett?
We shall.
And it's brought to you by The Casino at Canterbury Park, CanterburyPark.com. Feeling the felt. Live racing in the spring. Love you, Canterbury. What do you got?
Number 1.
Olympic hockey in full swing, Nords. You've got the U.S. will play the winner of Sweden and Latvia. That game is at 2:10 Central. You've also got the Czechs and the Danish playing right now. The Danes just tied it up 1-1 in the second period. And the winner of this game will play Canada. And meanwhile, on the women's side, U.S. and Canada once again in the gold medal game. That's Thursday at 2 o'clock. So plenty of U.S. hockey and Olympic hockey to be watched. I looked at the entire Olympic schedule. It's just a list of all the events going on today. Gold Zone, if you want to watch everything, is probably your best bet because I'm looking at 35, 40 different things going on today at some point in time. But I'm locked into the hockey, especially with couple good teams like the Czechs and the Danish.
Yeah, does it kind of feel... So our show, specifically 9 to noon, has always, the identity of it is the host, right? It's Paul Allen, voice of the Vikings. And so football's always been a very, very prominent thing, to the point where sometimes I'll even see it football season's finally over, so now you will acknowledge that the Wild exist, or that, and get the Wolves coach on weekly, et cetera, John Hines on weekly. But certainly football would probably be an A topic. I think that's obvious. This, we're going to soak in this hockey for every single minute of it, and then it's just going to be gone. And I'll tell you this, as fun as it's been, part of me, one of my favorite parts about the Olympics is all the NHL players that are representing their country. Now I'm going to recognize them later in the season during Wild games. For instance, Foxa. I know, is it Faxa or Foxa from the Stars?
I say Foxa.
Okay. Tomas Hertl. We know Hertl with the Golden Knights. These are the Czechs, by the way. Martin Necas, he's with the Avs. Andre Palat, I'm familiar with him. Pasternak, who doesn't know about him in the Bees? Who else do we have? Oh, we got Philippe Hronek, Vancouver Canucks. I wonder, do you think is it Radko Gudas?
Your truck accessory store.
I wonder how that's pronounced. Radko. And that's just the Czechs. And then on the Danish side, they got Nikolai Ehlers, know him. Lars Eller, not familiar. Bjorkstrand. Freddie Anderson in net. He's the Hurricanes keeper, netminder, I believe. No, I'm loving the hockey. I'm in on the hockey as well. That was a long, boring way to say that.
Number 2.
I've got another quarterback as the Czechs just scored to go up 2-1. Another quarterback potential, and if you don't like it, just send it right back. But there's a very highly drafted quarterback in the 2023 draft that seems, according to ESPN's Stephanie Holder, seems inevitable that he'll request a trade from the Colts this season. Anthony Richardson, your thoughts?
Well, my first thought, so I was reading, Alec Lewis has talked about this, Gessling's talked about this, just about anybody that covers the Vikings and follows the Vikings from that side of things, just kind of mentioning the style of the offense. And so I've been trying to keep an open mind on the QB spot. And again, love all the talkbacks. Keep the names coming. Haven't seen any talkbacks mentioning Anthony Richardson yet. If it's true that the game plan for JJ McCarthy to operate within Kevin O'Connell's specific offense, if there is any rigidity there on the part of the coach to alter what he wants to do schematically in that offense, and that it's as much, okay, so you either mold the star to the plan or you mold the plan to the star. I like the idea of molding the plan to the star myself, but schemes are schemes and people are proud of them, and when they're operated right, they work really well. Won 14 games with Sam Darnold a year ago. We know that. Anthony Richardson feels to me, and this is health issues aside as well, as he has trouble staying on the field, that feels to me like a very, very much would have to mold the plan to the star, because I don't think the star could ever potentially run the plan. And so that would do absolutely nothing for me other than, again, Rube Nord's coming in, or Nardo, as the transcription looks like on the free iHeartRadio app for Talkbacks. Rube Nardo thinks about it and says, man, he's pretty young. Man, he's pretty athletic. Yeah, he's been hurt a lot, but I'm not ready to do that. Maybe that's my change in 2026. I'm going to I don't want to be more pessimistic. I just want my team to pick the right freaking guys and win games. I don't think Anthony Richardson, for me, would be an answer to that. You know, there's another one. I don't know if you saw this. I think it was Todd McShay had mentioned that C.J. Stroud could potentially be available this offseason.
That's a home run for me.
You love C.J.?
I think he's got all the potential in the world. And you put C.J. in the Kevin O'Connell system, I mean, you're looking good. I think the home run hire would be, or the home run trade would be Burrow or Lamar. But I think the next tier down from that, I mean, C.J. Stroud, his rookie year, people are talking he's one of the best quarterbacks in football.
But then he played 2 more years.
Yeah, that's correct. I think there's something there still that KOC could potentially bring out of him. That would be, if I were a Vikings fan and you tell me you can't get Joe Burrow or Lamar, which is probably the case, I think that would be my next guy that I would want to go after, way more than a Richardson who tapped out when he was tuckered in his rookie season. I got to take a play off because I'm tired.
People get tired. People get very tired.
Not pro athletes. They're not supposed to.
Holy cats.
Yes?
I'm excited. Well, the reason I was taking that text from John Bonus, you could acknowledge that I'm normally quite attentive to what you're saying.
Most of the time.
That I'm seeing potentially that John Bonus is in the Pablo Lopez done for the season meat grinder, potentially.
You can't make that up.
So I think as of now, GM Jeremy Zoll may have just given either a public interview or a presser. We may hear from Pablo. We'll see. Yeah, Pablo. Wow. Okay. So I think we will hear from Pablo himself at some point today, potentially. So Pablo Lopez might be done for the year for the Minnesota Twins. So we'll dig into that. And again, I got Bonus trying to work his way through all of that, and then he notes that he may call in when he finds a free few minutes. So we'll hopefully hear from John Bonus here during the final hour. To C.J. Stroud, we'll see. How can I be optimistic? I mean, we haven't even started games yet. We had a fire sale. Falvey Rage quit, and now our best pitcher is potentially out for the year. Maybe pessimism in 2026 is the way to go, but I can't do it. The thing with CJ, The next 2 seasons, huge regression second year. I think there's a bounce back in spots. I know it's been because of our issues on the offensive line this year. We look at Houston and we see Ed Ingram, and we see a couple highlights where Ed Ingram's just mowing people down. And it's like, see, why Kwesi made a good pick and we just didn't coach him. Get rid of Chris Cooper on the O-line. And he would have been better. We didn't need to get rid of him. That offensive line in Houston has some issues. And the combination, like Nico Collins, you think about Tank Dell and all the brutal injuries that he's had, Diggs, and then you have Nico Collins and his struggles to get healthy. They got a couple young receivers, I believe, from Iowa State. Is there a Noel? I believe one of them. But to that end, the skill players around him, Mixon was unhealthy the whole year, and they tried to dust off Bradley Chubb. In moments, he was pretty good. But overall, yes, if he didn't cost anything, then I would say, but then that gets back into, if we truly believe that's a home run, then it's probably worth it. How much does it cost? And then we look at the depth and the other things around us. You're in the meat grinder of immediately having to figure out his contract in the long term. Entering his 4th year, I think you can get the 5th year option. I believe you have to make that decision this spring, later on in May or something like that. How much he's going to cost. A lot of this was built here in Minnesota around a kid on a rookie contract. So again, there's a lot of things that play into that. I wonder how much he would garner. I mean, are we talking a couple firsts for him? Is that what, through 3 years, when you look at him, do you see 2 first-round picks? I'd be interested to kind of go through the mental machinations of that. But C.J. Stroud. Now, after all of that, there's a local beat writer in Houston. I think his name's John McClain. Not John McClain from Nakatomi Plaza.
Okay. Wanted to be sure.
Yeah.
Man, he picked up writing.
The other John McClain, who's written for the Houston Chronicle for like half a century almost. He says it ain't happening. But we shall see. Maybe everyone
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yeah, yippee-ki-yay indeed. Everybody's got a price. Maybe. We'll see. So anything else on the news front here?
We can straddle. I'm down for a straddle.
What do you got?
Also I've got, I'll just run through them. Kenneth Walker, unlikely to get the franchise tag, so he could be available for someone to pick up, a very good player. We've got the MLB PA. The executive director, Tony Clark, resigned, leaving the union without its longtime leader less than a year before the MLB's collective bargaining agreement ends.
Yeah.
So that's not a good sign. We're so far away from baseball in this town, especially in this building. It just feels, and this town is just over the Twins at times, and just the frustration. And Pablo Lopez, of course that happens, that he gets hurt. It's just so Twins-like to then have a shutdown too on top of that, and a potential lockout. That, to me, that would be bad business for baseball, who's already kind of waning, at least in the national, in my opinion. But maybe that's out of sight, out of mind, because the Twins are not very competitive and they don't want to spend, that we're just like over baseball. And maybe in other markets, they're diehard and we can't wait for pitchers and catchers. And the first spring training game, we're going to look at the game cast online. But here, if there's a lockout here, might even forget where Target Field is. Not literally.
Well, there are absolutely markets who are excited for pitchers and catchers to report. And there are even markets where they don't spend Dodgers money and are super excited. Brewers fans, they are an incredibly loyal, ardent fan base. Even up in Detroit at times when the team's been really bad. Now they're kind of, they're, looking good in a bad AL Central. But we're not unique in the fact that we've struggled. But maybe the long time, if there's any animosity about the ownership group and just how things have gone here. And then again, in recent times, you finally get over that hump. You'd lost 18 or 19 straight playoff games. You take 2 from the Blue Jays, advance into the ALDS, and then you effectively just cut all the trees down. That is, a lot of fans will look at that as a slap in the face. And yesterday, you want to talk about posturous statements. It's, I think I said something like, the poll ads are cheap, but are they?
Welcome back.
There's a combination. There's a combination of thoughts that lead into that, where cutting revenue, But where are they getting the money? Bad TV deal. Okay, these are all things that you have to be frustrated about with the team and how they've been managed and pushed along here. There's no doubt about it. But if the Twins were to spend an extra $100 million this season, do you believe they would be in a spot to compete? Now, I'm mentioning this after we just found out about Pablo. So let's pretend Pablo. Let's just go back in time like an hour when it felt like it wasn't necessarily a worrisome situation, and now we know what we know. A cap league sounds like a parity generator. Revenue sharing sounds like a path where we don't have to wait what has now been more than a decade since the Royals win a World Series, that we are in the mix, that and we're in the mix on free agents. And you see cap leagues and the NFL has done everything they can to manipulate the cap. The NBA does everything they can to manipulate the cap. I get it. It's not perfect. Maybe the best cap structure and the most straightforward might actually be the NHL if you dig into that. And I'm not a capology expert with any of these leagues, but just generally the most straightforward's been the NHL. A cap in Major League Baseball, are we too far down the road? What would be the process if there is a lockout and a stoppage and an evolution to a cap? I wonder how long it would take to get there. You got a lot of contracts and a lot of money promised. If you're the Dodgers, you have like $1 billion in deferred dollars for after these contracts are over. What that change would look like would be shocking to the sport. But the combination of a bad team that breeds apathy and then a lockout, yes, I think locally that would be a massive issue, stating the obvious as it pertains to the baseball team.
And I think that a lockout debating the cap would be a disaster as well, because if you're a player, I just want to get paid. I want to get paid as much as I humanly can. If you put a cap on it, then I'm not going to get paid as much and no one's going to be making as much. So that, to me, the toothpaste is already out of the tube as far as the salary cap is concerned. I mean, but then even if you put floors, you have to spend X amount of money to protect against the Pollads or the Pirates or whoever it may be, or the A's. Even that's not going to be very popular with them. It's just, I feel like that lockout is going to be a disaster compared to, the NHL one where they lost half the season, or the football one as well. So I think it's bad news if there's a lockout for baseball.
I tend to agree with you, my friend. That's News de Nord, brought to you by The Casino at Canterbury Park, CanterburyPark.com. Final hour around the corner, and we're going to try to catch up with John Bonus, hoping to get some intel in terms of Pablo Lopez and news that he might be out of the mix for 2026. Final hour ahead, it's Nordo in for PA, 9 to noon.